Today we're going to talk about selling your home for more money and less time using our strategies.
Interest rates are at 7% and buyer demand is plummeting, and because of that, we're seeing homes sit on the market a lot longer. Sellers are reducing their asking price and have been asking us what they can do to get their house sold, so we knew it was time to make a video sharing some of our tips.
So let's start with what we're telling sellers in our market, what's working for us, so that you can maximize your price and get your home sold for top dollar in this shifting housing market right now.
One thing we need to mention before we dive into this is that we're local to Lower Alabama, so some of these strategies that we're gonna share might not work in your market, but we're gonna let you know what's worked for us.
Okay, first and foremost, if you don't price your home correctly, the strategies won't work together.
This is facts. You need to have a foundation where you can apply the things that we're going to mention. So if you're a seller in this market, you have to be realistic as to what your home is actually worth.
Now, it may sound crazy, but we have conversations all the time with sellers who believe their homes are still worth what they were a year ago, and that's just not the case. Today's seller's market is pretty opposite of what it was 12 months ago.
Buyer demand was driving prices higher than we've ever seen, but today's rates have dramatically decreased the buyer pool. So the market has cooled down big time and we're in what we're calling a more normalized market. So let's dive into some more of our strategies.
Okay, the very first thing we want to talk about here is seller credits. Now, I know you're thinking this might be counterintuitive because you're trying to get the highest price.
Right, we know you're trying to maximize the price you receive, but we're telling you that you need to offer seller credits because these high interest rates are putting a lot of pressure on affordability for today's buyers.
6 months ago, buyers likely could afford your home because interest rates were 1% or 2 lower than they are right now.
Good old days.
And now buyers can't afford your property, but they still want to buy. As a seller, you can offer some incentive that might help a buyer buy down their rate, making the payment more affordable. So offering some closing credits can help a buyer get off the fence and just move forward with getting the home.
That's right. Agents can also mention this up front, including in the listing details, that a seller is willing to offer a credit towards closing costs will help attract buyers. This doesn't mean you're taking less for the price of your home. In many cases, the buyer will actually add it to their offer price. So say you're selling your home for $500,000. A buyer can offer $510,000 and request a $10,000 seller credit, which they might plan to use to buy down their rate. In other cases, if your home has been sitting on the market longer and you're thinking of doing a price improvement or reducing the price, you might say, instead of reducing the price, I'm willing to offer a credit instead. And in turn, you might end up making more money offering that credit than you would have if you would have lowered your price for the property in the first place.
Now, another strategy you can use to help maximize price is making sure that your property shows well. How do you do that, you ask? By decluttering your home, maximizing the space within it, and helping the property show in its best light. You want to show well for photos, but you also want it to show well when people are walking through the home. So, while no one wants to spend the money on staging and decluttering and maybe buying some additional items for the home to make it show well, I can tell you doing small little things like this will help you maximize the price. That's why when you walk into a model home, it looks beautiful from floor to ceiling. Otherwise, they'd all be empty. It's just a proven strategy time and time again. You walk into a decluttered, staged home and it just has this wow factor.
Okay, now you might be saying, yeah, but my neighbors sold their home a couple months ago. They had no furniture in it and somebody offered way above asking price. But remember and understand, it was a different market just a few months ago. That market was totally different than today's market. You didn't have to do a lot of the things that you have to do today that we're talking about in this video. We're in a market now that has shifted and we're going back to the basics.
That's right. We're back in a market where sellers may need to take the necessary steps to fix up their home before listing because no one wants to spend an arm and a leg for a mediocre or dated home that's in need of tons of work. The homes that need a lot of work and fixing up, those are the homes that are sitting on the market, whereas the homes that show well, the ones that are just turnkey, those are the ones selling very, very quickly.
right? You want your home to look like it came out of HGTV or Southern Living, or at least if you want it to sell quickly and for top dollar. And that leads me to our next strategy, which is doing some or even all of the repairs upfront before even listing your property.
And she makes a very good point, people. As we've referenced several times in this video, the last couple of years, you haven't had to do these things. People were willing to come in and offer you much higher than your list price with a lot of work being needed. But as the market has changed, so has buyers' mindsets on these sort of things. So if you have peeling paint or old stained carpet that needs to be replaced, just do it.
Right, do it before listing the home so you can get nice photos and draw people to your property. Now, the last strategy we're gonna talk about is just to set yourself apart from the rest, and I'd only recommend doing this if you can afford it. This strategy requires offering a little bit more commission than you may have initially thought, or maybe more than what your neighbors were offering. And so the idea here is that you want to make an agent feel like they're being more than fairly compensated. And if all your neighbors are offering X percent and you offer X percent, but plus a little bit more, or maybe a bonus on top of that commission, then that might pique the agent's interest. Remember, most agents out there, most realtors out there are commission based. And if they can make a little bit more money, they may be more inclined to help bring in a buyer who would love your home and get you the price that you're wanting.
All right, we hope these strategies help you all, but until next time, we'll see y'all later.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.